Hello people, I am Jaby Koay, joined by Achara, KIRK.
What's up, people?
We're looking at the trailer to TANDAV, starring Saif Ali Khan, Dimple Kapadia, and Sunil Grover, and it is created and directed by Ali Abbas Zafar. This comes out January 15th, which is very, very soon, so mark them calendars so you don't miss out, and because you want to watch TANDAV, right? That's why you're here watching this reaction to the trailer.
Grand.
हमने अपने राज में कई गलत काम किए, लेकिन देश को तोड़ने का काम नहीं किया। इसके हाथ में सत्ता आ गई ना, तो लोकतंत्र खत्म कर देगा ये। तुझे तानाशाह नहीं दिखता?
Oh, so it's a bad guy. So now we know. It's more clear. He's bad.
People will wake up to the sad news.
Tiger's into insulting. Bahar.
Mr. Prime Minister.
These are action movies.
तुम चाहते हो कि ये राज रहे, कल तुम्हारे पर्सनल ट्विटर हैंडल से ये ट्रेंड होगा। #अनुराधा is our PM.
रेडी हो जा, अब पाप करना पड़ेगा।
आप हो किसकी तरफ?
सही और गलत के बीच में जो चीज आके खड़ी हो जाती है ना, उसे राजनीति कहते हैं। और हम राजनीति के साथ हैं।
प्रधानमंत्री कभी नहीं बना, तो वो घर मैंने 3 प्रधानमंत्रियों से खाली करवाया।
तुम्हारा पूरा करियर खत्म कर दिया अनुराधा ने। आपको शक्ल देखनी चाहिए थी समझ की। पैरों के नीचे से जमीन खींच ली आपने उसको।
अब इस राजनीति में चाणक्य नीति लानी पड़ेगी। If you can't be the king, be the kingmaker. मतलब राज
Like Mirzapur.
तो कम से कम राज जाके गुट्टी पकड़ लो। इस देश की पॉलिटिक्स को तुम्हारी जरूरत है और तुम्हें पॉलिटिक्स की जरूरत है।
हम सबके अंदर एक गुस्सा है। मेरा तो नाम ही शिवा है, इसलिए बहुत सारा है।
राजनीति के खेल में हर खिलाड़ी के पास एक चाल चलने का मौका आता है।
कौन है ये लोग? क्या चल रहा है जिधर?
सना, ये पावरफुल लोग हैं। इस बार पागलपन कुछ ज्यादा ही हो रहा है। पागलपन में क्या कम और क्या ज्यादा सर? या तो ये होता है या नहीं होता। टेररिस्ट बॉर्डर पार से ना आ रहे, ये यूनिवर्सिटी में तैयार हो रहे हैं।
मैं इलेक्शन लड़ूंगा सर, अपनी पार्टी बना के। अब होगा तांडव।
Oh, like that dance of fury.
सर, क्या आप प्रधानमंत्री बनने वाले हो?
And that right there, folks, is the tiny problem with democracy.
What? What do you mean?
It's just everyone's attacking each other in politics as opposed to actually like coming together and getting shit done. We're all like trying to kill each other and like take over the other person's role and whatnot, as opposed to actually like collectively working together to help out the people, which is the job you signed up for.
Well, yeah, because there's no such thing as altruism in that scenario. Do you know what I mean? Like, people are just trying to be the most powerful that they can be. They're not thinking about,
The common man.
like, yeah, the real purpose of your job is to help the people. But here, it's like everyone just wants to be top dog, which kind of reminds me of Game of Thrones. Like, I'm watching this and I'm
That's
going,
exactly where I was going with that, yes.
this is a modern day Game of Thrones right now.
I mean, that's what House of Cards was essentially called, was Game of Thrones in Washington. And
Yeah.
the simple idea there is, there's White Walkers coming. This thing is coming, which is
called COVID-19, peeps.
Well, COVID-19 now, but essentially that was an analogy for like, what do you call it? Global warming, right?
Right.
It's this thing that is inevitable that's coming, and while we're all squabbling over this little piece of land that we have that we want to control for our own self-interest, there's this thing that's coming, and it's gonna kill all of us
Yep.
if we don't look out for it. Even at the edge of the world, even at the brink of humanity's existence being wiped out, there were still political games being played in Game of Thrones. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, that's the.
It's human nature.
Setting aside how terrible the last season was, that's still the story, which is even right up to the very end. There's a movie, I forgot his name. There's a zombie film that takes place in the future with Dennis Hopper. I can't remember what it's called for the life of me. It's the only zombie film that I voluntarily watched in theaters. But the idea of it was when there was only this small piece of land left for humanity that was guarded on 3 sides. The one side has water, and the zombies supposedly can't cross water, at least not that they knew. Even then, there was classism, where Dennis Hopper lived at the top of the tower, and he lived like a king, while a lot of people still lived like poor people. So even at the end of the world, that people couldn't come together. Here you have a situation that we went off on a weird tangent there, but here you have a situation where you have these people who are employed to take care of the people. That's their job. They're out there doing all these speeches and whatnot as a face for the people, but really they're just taking care of themselves and making sure that they have the power, and it's very, very frustrating but entertaining at the same time.
Well, yeah, because I'm already looking at this and I'm thinking there are some really interesting characters, there are interesting key players that they're introducing here. I don't really understand exactly what's going on. To me, it seems like someone died, maybe the Prime Minister died, and now the seat is vacated, and all these different players want to get on the throne, as it were. So you have Saif Ali Khan, who I'm not sure exactly what he is, if he's like underneath the Prime Minister or something like that, and he wants to be the Prime Minister. Meanwhile, Dimple Kapadia is coming in and she's like, no, you're gonna announce that I'm the Prime Minister because reasons. And she's coming across as this really powerful lady, and she's got her crew behind her. You've got Saif Ali Khan's right-hand man, who's gonna get shit done.
That's the House of Cards reference that I made before, which is he's like Frank Underwood's right-hand guy in that show. And the thing about it that, again, comparing it to House of Cards, is that you don't really know who you're supposed to root for because everyone's kind of shady in their own way. So you sort of have these, not underdogs, but anti-heroes. You're following all these different threads, these plots, and you're like, I don't know who I'm supposed to. That's the issue I had with Game of Thrones, which is I don't know who I'm supposed to root for in this particular. The only one I could root for was Tyrion. Tyrion's the only character I felt like I could root for in that show. Obviously, there were other good characters, there were other protagonists, but here it seems like it's vague.
It's very gray.
Yeah.
I don't think I see anyone right now when I'm looking at this trailer that I feel is a noble character. Like even the young guy that Saif Ali Khan was kind of, I don't know if he was grooming him in the university to kind of either cause trouble or, you know, maybe lead, because, you know, he did say, if you can't be the king, then be the kingmaker. So it seemed like he was trying to groom this guy, but then he turns against him. And so, you know, there's all this drama happening and it's very interesting, but even still, I'm like, I don't know. There isn't anyone who's like a clear-cut, noble character, but I think that's interesting.
I think it's just frustrating for me. It's impossible to really judge the quality of what this is without having watched it. I am definitely curious and want to watch it. Entertainment value aside, it's maddening because I'm looking at what's going on in our own country right now, and I'm like, this is exactly what the problem is they're all bickering with each other rather than trying to help people. And I keep going back to that in my head. It makes me so upset because there was recently the whole discussion about a stimulus package for the American people, especially those who are about to be evicted from their homes. And meanwhile, Washington politicians are bickering with each other over how much money your average American gets from this stimulus package. It's like, what the hell? Why is this taking 6 months to? It's so frustrating that people are just losing out while a bunch of old guys are trying to decide how much they can get out of this thing. That really pisses me off. Obviously, it's not limited to the States. Like, this is globally a thing. People in power just want more power.
Yeah, exactly. You know? And this has been the way, I believe, since the dawn of time. Every now and then, you get leaders who genuinely want what's best for their people, but then how long can you stay in power before it eventually corrupts you? You know,
or someone tries to take over.
Exactly, or someone tries to take over. Like, is there any place in politics for good people? Or is it just full of shady characters?
Cutthroat individuals.
Exactly, because that's the only way you can survive.
Right. It almost brings me back to the show we've been watching, which is showing up on Get Jaby if you want to see our reaction, is Cobra Kai, where you have these people who were probably innocent, good people.
Yeah.
But then circumstances turn them into bullies, essentially. It's like if you go into politics, this is what you're fighting against. And so you either become the monster that you're seeing and combating, or you get eaten by the monster.
Yeah, it's like you got to be a shark to swim with the sharks.
Right.
Because if you're a dolphin, you'll get eaten.
The most surprising thing to me above all else isn't the cast, isn't the story, isn't the cinematography. It's who is responsible for making the show. The names they mentioned were all Salman Khan films, right? Mm-hmm. Like Bharat was one, and then Sultan, and then
Tiger Zinda Hai.
Those are all action movies. It's just so bizarre, like, because this is an action film. It is not. This is definitely not an action film. After showing those titles, I was like, am I supposed to be expecting like some sort of like epic action sequence that's gonna follow now, like, you know, trucks flying over mountains and stuff like that, or is it gonna just be like what I thought it was gonna be, which is like a political drama?
Does this have anything to do with Salman Khan, or is it just the director has directed Salman Khan a lot?
It's the director.
He's doing stuff.
It's just the director.
Okay, so it's just the director. So he's trying something maybe new, or maybe it's gonna have similar vibes. I mean, it definitely looks sexy.
It looks well shot. I'm definitely intrigued and curious to check it out. We've had political shows in political movies in the States for a long time, and I don't know that it's made a world of a difference, but I feel like Indian people are quite passionate, and if they can see something, they are not afraid to voice their angst and frustration and demand some kind of change and demand shit gets done. That's the one thing I gotta give, you know, not the one thing, not the only thing, but that is a thing I give Indian people credit for, is when they feel passionate about something, they fucking fight.
Yeah.
And they collectively fight, I feel like, more than we do. Now, obviously, there's multiple sides to this conversation. There are some people who feel that there are people who jump on a bandwagon, not really fully understanding what they're fighting for.
Yeah.
But still, like, you gotta admire the passion. I'm hoping that this is informative and educational and makes people sit up and go, huh, maybe I'm gonna approach my understanding of this a little bit differently, you know, with more skepticism.
Exactly, because like there's so much going on in politics behind the scenes that as a general public, we're just not aware of. And I think, like you say, having healthy skepticism is important. So we don't just take everything that is told to us at face value. We can ask intelligent questions and be like, wait, why are you doing this though? What is the underlying thing here that you're trying to like pull the wool over my eyes about?
I question everything, man. Like,
you're a little bit extreme.
Yeah, I question everything. Like Achara was like, I'm gonna get Obama's book. I'm like, why? She's like, why not? I'm like, I'm not gonna make that man any more money. He's rich. He doesn't need. He's taken so many, speeches and opportunities. That guy is well off. I'm not gonna give him another dime. He doesn't need any more of my money. And the thing about it is, people look at Obama, like, especially compared to Trump, as like this perfect. He wasn't perfect. He had a lot of things that he didn't do right. Was he a good president? It's up for debate. It's on like which side are you coming from? There are people who would argue that he wasn't good. You know, you hear those arguments and they do make sense. And there are people who would say that he's great. I think that he did a number of good things, but he wasn't perfect. And there's some things he did that are lasting today that are not good. Namely, a Big Brother state that we live in, where it's like there's so much Big Brother now, which is what Snowden was talking about, that I feel like Obama was largely, that was in development, but Obama made it much bigger. And so I'm saying, even a president as highly revered as Obama, who is considered one of the greatest presidents of all time, he has some stains on his white dress that you need to examine. I don't know what I'm talking about though. I don't know that much about politics, so don't listen to me. All I'm saying is, if you're super educated about politics or super uneducated, irrespective, go in with skepticism. That's all I'm saying. Don't blindly subscribe to anything. Go in with skepticism. Except with Jaby Koay. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon, all notifications please. Check out our other reactions, reviews, short films, vlogs, and other interviews. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
Achara KIRK. Wow, nice segue.
Hey, you gotta try. Peace out.